it's Effie Bateman here, and at the start of the interview you'll hear us talking about Splendour in the Grass, and this is because we recorded this episode a few weeks ago, and we've been itching to release it, but had to put the foot on the pedal until our guest had released his self-titled album, YUNGBLUD. So if you're listening to this, the wait is over and you can now listen to YUNGBLUD's new album wherever you get your music. Here is today's interview.
You're listening to Errol Parker and Clancy Overall, editors of the Betoota Advocate, on Desert Rock FM. Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate radio show, recording live here out of the Desert Rock FM booth. We've had a big couple days. We've been up at Splendour in the Mud, I guess it was called. Back now in the booth, back to real work. Absolutely not in any way hindered mentally or physically from the last week trudging around there with the pandemic youth. It was a good time, wasn't it, Effie?
Oh, it was fantastic. I think my favourite moment was almost seeing Clancy stack it in the mud. Mm-hmm. And we were all wearing some gumboots, and he wanted to wear the tradie ones.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't a good time.
Didn't want the knee highs.
Yeah.
And that was during actually a countryman of today's guest's performance, not from the same part of England, but from nearby. H was having a gig in the mix-up tent, and yeah, that's where Clancy Overall from the Betoota Advocate nearly went down in the mud. I survived, I regathered, and I'm back here to tell the tale with today's guest, Effie. We've got YUNGBLUD straight out of Yorkshire.
How's it going?
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, mate, I'm very happy to be here. Honestly, I really am.
You are a fan of our country and our
I love it. I love
continent.
it down here. Honestly, I do.
We say that because you've said it before, so we're not putting you in a position to
No,
lie.
I have said it before. It's not. You're not gaslighting me here. You are quoting me. In fact, I do love it down here. Honestly, I think I'll end up here eventually.
Yeah.
When I'm tired of rock music.
Yeah, there's a lot of your people from your part of the world,
fully.
Yorkshire, make their way down here, mostly to play football, but we've met a few people with that specific accent of yours rolling around the main streets of Betoota, Sydney, Brisbane.
I love it, man. Honestly, I do. I just love that. I love the honesty. I love the laughter. And I just, you know what I mean? Aussies are just the best.
We are.
And you have that reputation all over the world. I've been all over the world a couple of times, and everyone's always like, no matter what country you're in, like France, Italy, Dallas, yeah, everyone loves it.
I do appreciate that I saw that you've done a shoey as well.
I did do that. They wrote me into it.
Yes, they tried getting Jack Harlow to do one on Saturday night, and he's like, what? No, I'm not doing it.
But I love it, mate. Honestly, yeah. I think it's just like, I tell you what, it's really easy to down a pint out of a shoe.
Mm. Well, you want to do it quick. You don't want to taste it.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. I think you just like it's just that thing, innit? You just like, just get it gone.
Now, you're very honest to yourself, and we're going to ask for some honesty here.
I'm down.
How do you think Australians go at crisis management? I mean, we're not talking about bushfires. We didn't do too well there. But when it came to your performance the other night, did you get into the vicinity?
No, to be honest, can I tell you something?
Yeah,
I woke up that morning, and it was windy and raining. Yeah. And muddy, and I was at the hotel. Yeah. So I was saying, "This ain't happening." I promise you, brother. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you've got that prior knowledge.
I got that
events.
I got that gypsy intuition. You know what I mean? So I was like, I woke up, and it just didn't feel right. So I went and had a cup of tea, sat down, and because of last time we played Falls Festival the one in Melbourne had to be called off because of bushfires. Yeah. So we played a gig at the Tote. So I literally just started being like, all right then. Everyone needs to start looking around for a little venue.
So tell me, you did do a backup gig?
Oh,
though?
yeah, fully, bruv. It was mental. I was just literally just calling around all day being like, all right, I ain't not playing a show today because I've travelled too far. And everyone just looked soggy and sad. Mm-hmm. They were passing the hotel. Yeah. People were in pyjamas, weeping. And I was like, no, not today. We're the happy crew. So I walked around, called a couple mates up. To be honest, they're not really my mates, you know what I mean? They're my mates now, but I didn't have a clue who they were. Went on Google, was like, all right, because I don't really know Byron. Byron?
Yeah.
Byron.
I don't know Byron very well. So I was just like, I called a couple places up, and then the Kingscliff Hotel were very accommodating. And I was just like, all right then, put a poster up within 45 minutes. There were 2 times the amount of capacity outside. Yeah. Police turned up. People were climbing over the wall.
I reckon that's even better.
Oh,
that's
I had a
even better.
great time.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was amazing. I was literally like, but all our gear was on a truck to Brisbane because like as soon as it got cancelled, we don't just like turn up and plug in anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? It's all like whatever. Pretentious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you got the show goes on, you keep moving.
You know what I mean? So we were just like, all right, whatever. And then it was amazing because we got to play like the old days. Just
so
like
you played with the pub kit?
Just literally played with whatever we could get.
Yeah.
Plugged in, turned up, got pissed, played a show. It was fun.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Loose, man. It was so loose. I loved it.
Oh, that would be an unforgettable experience for all the people that have been just... Apparently they were waiting 14 hours, some of them, to get their tents. Like, yeah.
It wasn't great, but it was amazing. And everyone, I was like, what's it like? And people were just like, everyone is fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, sick. Because we were just riding around because I didn't want to go to the pub too early, you know what I mean? Because like, in them situations when it's like... small
you gotta come in the back door.
People get on the van and shit, you know what I mean? So we were just like hanging out, but I always I'm not very good at, I don't want to be left out ever, you know what I mean? I'm terrified of missing out, like, so I'm calling everyone like, what's it like there? And everyone's like, everyone is fucked up.
Yeah.
And
The pub would have loved it too. They wouldn't have been accounting for that kind of turnover at the bar.
See, that's what I was saying. They were like, I think we just got paid in booze, to be honest. It was literally like rewind 5 years ago. Turn up, plug in, paid in beer. I was like, sick.
I want to talk a bit about 5 years ago. I want to talk a bit about, and even earlier than that. You come from a part of the world where a lot of global music stars have come out of. Be that anywhere north of basically Manchester, you keep seeing more and more names as you look at the history of music throughout, particularly England and around the world. Who did you come up on? Who do you think would have been your influences?
Wow, I think, to be honest, my old man brought me up a lot on Oasis and a lot on Stone Roses because that was it. I mean, and the Arctic Monkeys as I grew up were really,
And your dad, he's got the guitar?
Yeah, my old man sold guitars for a living.
Nice,
you know what I mean? So it was literally, it was a family business. My granddad and my dad would go to work every day. And then I'd finish school, go to the shop and work till late. And it was like, I had to know music or I wouldn't get a word in edgeways around a dinner table. You know what I mean? That was it. It was like every day was just music. And like, it was northern, man. It was cash in hand. It was quick. It was fast. It was like Chinese takeaway if we had a good day, egg and cress sandwich if we fucking had a bad day. And I ate egg and cress sandwich. I think it's PTSD, you know what I mean? But that was it, man. It was like, it was a lot of northern stuff. But then I think I adore Oasis, I adore the Stone Roses, I adore Britpop, Primal Scream, all that stuff, because that was like what my first memories of music. But I think when you really find stuff yourself, that's when you take ownership of it.
Yeah.
So it was when I found like Bowie and when I found like Lou Reed and like even hip hop. When I found Eminem for the first time, I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? Because I'd work in my dad's shop, buy fish and chips, bit of weed, and CDs from HMV, and just be like, whoa.
And do you remember that moment when you kind of felt yourself becoming contemporaries with your heroes?
Bruv, it's pretty mad. Can I give you a little bit of insight of something I'm going through right now? Everything feels backward when you get to a certain level because, like, it's just what you call success. Because to me, I think success feels like a boundary.
Yep.
Because it feels so finite. Feels like the end of something. When people like say that to you. And now we're playing like the biggest venues I've ever dreamed of and I've ever think. But I feel kind of the same as I did when I was 15.
Yep.
It's so mental. It's such a mental thing 'cause it feels like I'm starting again to actually understand this part of the world because there's nothing more magic than the first 9 months of someone ascending.
Yeah.
As an artist, because it's like everyone is around you and everything's like so fast, but then it kind of just, you hit a wall and you get to a level and you're like, oh, whoa.
That becomes status quo.
It becomes just, you know what I'm saying? And then it's just like, all I'm doing now is trying to go backwards to feel the same connection. Like
Kingscliff Hotel did that
that's
for
what
you.
I'm saying. That's what I mean. That's my shit. I was like, oh my God. And like before, like we're about to put like arenas on sale in the UK and Europe. And I was like, but around the album, I don't want to do that. You You know what I mean? Like, no cap. Like, me, if I become a rock star, that terrifies me.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to be like, permission. If I become a rock star, you get to slap me in the face.
Deal,
and that's on. It frightens me because I'm not here to do that. Youngblood is like, I wanted to build a community for people to belong and for people to feel accepted. And that's why, like, around the new album, we're doing like 800 seaters.
Mm-hmm.
An intimate tour across the UK.
Yeah.
Just to feel the energy and to feel the spirit and to feel like what it really means.
So,
you know what I mean?
there was the option of arenas, and you said no, let's scale it back down, make it a bit more intimate. Yeah.
First, I think like I can't wait to play arenas. That's gonna be mental. I can't wait to get to. I've always dreamt of Wembley Stadium and like Freddie Mercury and. Just because it's just
In
like,
Excess at Sunset.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Michael, wow. You know what I mean? It's like, because that's where you really go, wow, look what we built. We built because I'd never wanted to be about Hit Records. I wanted it to be about people coming together because at a Youngblood show, they're not just there to see me, they're there to see each other. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to encourage people the most. It's like, don't come and see me, come and see each other because there are people like you. There are people who feel like you and think like you and dress like you and are just as alone as you or just as lost as you. But I think, like, as I say, I always want this to balance the scales because I want to play massive shows, but I also want to feel connected. Yeah. That's just it for me.
Tell me about the, we didn't get to see you in action. Effie I'd say, would be much more closer to the demographic of the screaming Youngblood fan than this old bull here.
Oh, I don't know, man. At the minute, it's like, as I say, like, stick a Cure t-shirt on and an IPA in your hand. Yeah, you're at row 37, seat C.
That's it.
I'm down.
I was wondering, do you cast a wide net? What does the archetype look like?
It's becoming different. I think, like, there was such a big misconception that it was kind of just young screaming people.
You just did one with Ozzy Osbourne, didn't you?
Yeah, wild, bro. That's what I mean. It's just like... What? That's what he probably gave me. I got his necklace on, actually. He gave me a necklace. It was pretty mental. And we had a salami sandwich together. It was bomb. And he
Better
made
than an egg sandwich.
Oh, but yeah, fucking hell, he made it, bro. So sick. Lurpak butter, ginger beer, and a fucking salami sandwich. So dope.
Salami sandwich.
Fucking, legend, bro. Fully just like... people think Ozzy's crazy. I think he's free.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. You know what I mean? And then that's it. I think it's gone like... outwards. I don't know how to say it's gone younger and it's gone older. Like it's 5-year-olds to 70-year-olds at a Youngblood show now. It's like Ed Sheeran for twisted people.
Yeah, I like that. I like that should be
on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran for twisted people.
Tell me a little bit though. You know, with what you were just saying then about Ozzy. I remember when Ozzy came out with his reality show, The Osbournes, and it was hilarious. But I also remember thinking, the Americans aren't going to understand this so much,
dude.
But they did. Ozzy had the mass appeal too. Even when you're inside his living room, looking at how he lived,
looking at the dog shit on the carpet.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it in America. Like people kind of come and see the English people more than listen to the music. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, how's it going? Like you go to like Dallas, it's like, hello there, what's going on? We're in the studio with Youngblood and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Everyone imitates my accent. Or in France, like, bonjour, ça va? We have Youngblood in the studio, like all that shit. You know what I mean? I think it's just that fucking British, slightly psychotic, usually drunk thing that works. You know what I mean?
Bit of fun. We love them. But tell me, is there any secret, or not secret, but dark horse kind of unexpected audiences? Because we have bands, particularly from Australia, like Silverchair, that have come through, and they're now kind of stalwarts of rock in Australia. But they were always surprised by Brazil, and they toured and they toured and they toured. Have you found?
Can I tell you something mental? Like we turned up at Mexico, right? Yeah. We have not played like South America and Latin America yet. We've just not. We just didn't get round to it. You know what I mean? Because obviously we're gonna, but pandemic. And Vans basically called me up and was like, yo, will you come play a show for us at House of Vans in Mexico? And I was like, yeah, weird, but I'm down. Yeah, fuck yeah. And I was like, all right. And I thought it'd be a cool like little gauge, because you just never know. You see like a couple comments on Instagram. You're like, oh, we should go to Mexico. We should go to Latin America. 2,500 tickets, right? Mm-hmm. We're just like, all right, cool. We're going to put them on sale. Just like, see what happens. Mm-hmm. They went in 5 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And then we turned up at the airport, and there were 1,000 kids at the airport. in Mexico City.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? And then they're at the hotel, and then they're at the restaurant, and then they're at the thing. And I love it, me. I just love it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I just hope I never get over, like, seeing my people.
Yeah.
Because that's just what I do this for. That's what I wanted Youngblood to be. I was like, I just want some mates. To be honest, that's how.
I'm just lonely and I want some friends.
That was literally how this started.
Yeah, and that's what the fans are too. You're saying you're in a similar position.
I see a lot of comments, especially on your YouTube videos, that people are very grateful and they feel like they've got a sense of community.
Dude,
being part of your fan base. Yeah,
that was it. I think it was just like it kind of came at a crashing point of a wave of a generation where I just believe people. It just takes a couple of people to stand up and go, do you know what? Fuck this. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to express myself. And that was a generation. And I think a movement happened. You know what I mean?
Do you feel that also was heightened maybe by the pandemic in that the kids have had it pretty tough? You know, all the formative years that a lot of us remember, you know, being able to get out of the house when you turn 18 or when you finish school. The kids kind of haven't had that. Do you find that hypercharged? Because it was certainly on display at Splendour.
That was the thing. It started before, right? Just before, with Instagram, Twitter, everything. Suddenly, the voiceless had the biggest voice in the world.
Well, we found that happened with our recent election. Is suddenly because
Scott Morrison.
Scott Morrison.
He did his part.
Don't worry, I know him. He don't like me. He does not like me. That's what I mean. I was like, kind of. It started with Brexit with me. That's what made me start writing music. Really, as Youngblood. You know what I mean? Like, gave me a real identity. I just looked into my phone and went, I hate this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to feel voiceless. I don't want to. And then people responded. And then I came down to Australia from 10,000 followers. The next time I returned to Australia, I had 1 million. And then the pandemic just kind of, I don't know. I think I know how to talk to my community, and they took it and ran with it. You know, I mean, it's not about me. It's about an idea. And Youngblood became a name for young people to wrap around and go like, this is where I belong, and this is what I want to wear, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to talk about. And then, like, again, the pandemic, people felt voiceless, so all it was about is me providing a space where kids can meet mates in lines, and then when Youngblood leaves town, they're together. And then it's like, okay, there's a pandemic, well, let's do this but online, so you can talk every day and do a Zoom with mates every day, like, oh, I'm in my bedroom, I'm fucking whatever, like, I don't know, kids were doing like joint rolling parties where they were smoking weed out the bedrooms in the thing, or like painting, or I don't know, like clothing design, or sending each other stuff, and like that was what it was about. And then I think through the pandemic, it like what started as a subculture, because I would say that is Youngblood is a culture. Like, no matter if you like it or not, it is. It's an idea. It's our own little world. Got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it started to bleed into the mainstream. And that's when it kind of got a bit dark. You know what I mean? Because when an idea that is not affiliated with generalized thinking. People start to think it's fake, or people start to question it, or people think it's scary, or people don't get it, or don't know where it's come from, so they believe that it's, you know what I mean, it may not be as it appears.
So we're talking those 9 months there then, really, that ascent you felt. Do you think at the same time, in the background, people were starting to think, who is this guy?
Fully.
Who are these fans? Is this just some sort of thing that they're doing?
That was it, man. My favourite thing in the world is when people think that this is run out of a boardroom. Can I tell you what's hilarious? There's 3 idiots out there, and number 4's here. It's literally me and 3 people with iPhones running all over the world going, what the hell can we do to find more people? You know what I mean? And I love that, me. I love the conversation, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? It's about the debate. It's about the idea. It's about the fight. I think if I don't have anything to fight against, I don't think I'll be as good.
I want to talk to you about your art, I guess. There's another band that was split to play just before you that suffered the same fate as you at Splendour in the Grass, was the DMAs.
Love.
Band. They're Australian lads, but they're all raised by Scousers and
I love it,
and
man.
Scots.
Step up the morphine. I
Yeah.
love it. I love when they did Believe.
But they can sing in a way that kind of in vowels that actually people can relate to from other parts of the world, mostly because their dads are all English. You have a similar, you don't sing the way you sound. And not that the Yorkshire accent's polarizing or isolating, but you do have I wouldn't call it American either, but you have a sound that actually is quite universal.
Yeah, it's so weird. I think kind of, for me, it was like I loved the Arctic Monkeys and Eminem simultaneously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That first record is like an accumulation of what was happening in youth culture: Lil Pump, Trippie Redd, and the Arctic Monkeys and Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
So how do I put Liam Gallagher under 808s?
Yeah.
And that's that first album. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I remember Mick Jagger, right? Mick Jagger said something sick. He was like, you play the part until you become it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny when people when music journalists talk about artists or whatever. And like, they have such a misconception that everyone was always like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not telling me that people listen to Lou Reed at 8.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that, you're lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You find these artists and you put their skin on like they put others on before, and then parts of it drop off and you are born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You play at it until you become it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact from every artist. From the Rolling Stones, we're listening to old school black blues musicians, and then they put that skin on.
Fats Domino.
Yeah, that's literally it. Do you know what I'm saying? And that was, and I think that's what's cool. I think like with it all, like you can hear the DMAs, you can hear the Verve in them, you can hear the Oasis in them, you can hear Richard Ashcroft like all over that stuff, but they do it but then I also hear like, literally like, I hear like In Excess ballads in them, and I hear, you know what I mean? It's that accumulation of identity that creates something new.
And it's you, and it's also them. It'd be fair to say that a lot of the kids have come up with the same stuff. I mean, how old are you?
That was it, I'm 24.
Yeah, so the kids are going to have grown up listening to the same stuff as YUNGBLUD.
That's what I'm saying, and at the end of the day, it's like, I am not YUNGBLUD. We are YUNGBLUD. They are YUNGBLUD. I would, if they didn't take this and carry this every single day and sing the songs and wear the t-shirts and turn up at the show and tattoo the lyrics and the hearts and the idea, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the one thing I always say about artists. Like, you got to be so grateful, because I don't know, I just know that I tell the truth and I pour my heart out, and they respond every day.
Well,
and it's amazing.
They're lining up at the Kingscliff Hotel. They're lining up at Mexico City Airport for it. And I think we're all YUNGBLUD now too here in the Desert Rock FM.
I love
it.
Thank you for joining us today.
Dude, thank you. I love that, man. That was amazing.